We're here at Ubisoft. We're talking about the brand new Rayman game, as you can tell from all of the signage around me. This is Raphael, who is the lead programmer on Far Cry 5. He used to have hair before the project started. This must be an incredibly taxing job for you, man. There's so much stuff going on in this game.
It's mostly fun, to be honest. It's taxing for sure, but in the end, it's fun. And this is what we're trying to build, right? It's a fun game. We want to put fun stuff for the player to have fun with. So it's hard, but in the end, it turns out to be pretty cool.
Well, tell me about this. It's the 5th game in a franchise that has just been blockbuster for Ubisoft. Is it something where you can take a lot of your previous work and slam it into this and upgrade and add new chunks of code? Like, I don't understand how you just keep, building and growing, or do you just throw all that other stuff away and start from scratch?
Yeah, you never throw away old stuff.
Never throw away old stuff. Especially if it's good.
If it's good, you want to build upon it. So we have some stuff that is really working well. We have some really good AI, some really good weapons. So we're building upon what is a success we know. But we always want to strive to be better, right? Sure. So we want to add upon it. We want to make more anecdotes for the player. We want him to feel like he has more toys and more stuff that he can work with. So it's a challenge to constantly add stuff to the game, but we think it's worth it because we don't want to mess with something that's good.
Right. Well, Far Cry to me seems like a franchise where almost anything is possible. Is there a line that you draw where it's like the designers or the Dan or somebody comes to you and says we want to do it, and you go, no, that is impossible?
If you talk to Dan, you're gonna know something. He doesn't accept no. We never say no.
Okay.
Everything is possible, to be honest. This was a 3-year project, so we really wanted to have something deep and fun, and we wanted to challenge ourselves to do something better and to really push ourselves. So we couldn't say no to anything, and we didn't. For example, the plane that we did in the game was a huge challenge for us. Technically, it was we needed to improve our streaming speed. We needed to do new controls that we never did for a plane before, and we needed to adjust every ingredient in the world to make sure that they actually work with a plane driven by both the player and the AI. So it was a huge challenge, but in the end it paid off because it really changes the way you play the game and how you can do things in the world. So if you want to do an outpost or if you want to do a certain open world mission, you can just drop in your plane and it's going to feel way different than you've ever done before.
Is that one of the elements of Far Cry 5 that feels like an integral kind of, this is new, or this is what typifies Far Cry 5?
It's one of the things. For me, it's probably the cool new toy that you're gonna want to put your hands on as soon as possible when you get in the game. But obviously, there's a lot of other things. The guns for hire, for example, are going to be another huge deal that's gonna change the way you play this game. You're gonna have to think about which guns for hire do I want to bring on this mission, and one of them's a sniper, one of them's a dog, one of them's a flying. So
one of them's a dog.
You've seen the 3 that we showed at E3, but there's way more than that you're going to see in the game.
Okay.
All of these new toys change a bit the way that you're going to attack those missions, and that you're going to find a way to use them as efficiently as possible.
When I talk with Dan, I get a sense of the effort and the energy that's been popped into the storytelling and the character development and creating the world of Montana. But you're the programmer. Does the story matter so much to you, or is it more about the gameplay beat, that moment of where crystallization and everything is just working the way it's supposed to?
For me, it's the two things are super important. They go hand in hand. I think Far Cry has a really, really strong story, and we need to make sure that we strive to still have a strong story. Some people are really excited about that, but there's also this other side that's really just crazy, open world.
Like the stories that we tell about our play of the game.
Exactly. So the anecdote factory, how the animals are affecting all of those missions, all of those moments, all of the toys that you have in the game, it's still super important too, and it tells a different story, and it's actually your story that you're telling. So both of these things is what I think makes Far Cry amazing. You have this these two things mashing together and actually creating a pretty unique experience that you don't really see anywhere else.
How do you know it's working when it's in prototype stage? When things are, you know, creaking at 12 frames per second and you've got low poly models and the background's not all rendering properly? How do you know it's going to work?
When it's fun.
Okay.
It's something that, you know, as a gamer,
Yeah.
you know that when you try something, because a lot of the guys on the team are like hardcore gamers, obviously.
Yeah.
And
I sense that you are. You were looking at your Metroid pre-order before. Yeah.
Yes. I'm a huge gamer, and to me, when I try something,
Yeah.
it just it either feels right, and you're like, you get a huge smile on your face, and like, okay, this is good. You can see where it's gonna go. Or you're like, it's not quite good enough.
Yeah.
You know, I'm super, like, for me, when I tell my programmers is make sure that it's good. Like, if it's good for you as a gamer, then it's for sure it's going to be good for the others. But because we're like such high critics of ourselves, and we want to make sure that we have something that's like of the utmost quality, or otherwise we don't want to show it.
Sure.
So for us, it's important that, you know, when we play it, when we try it, that it's actually amazing. And even if it's like a triangle jumping,
Yeah.
if it feels right, it's perfect, and then we just need to polish it and ship it.
That's awesome. I've talked to tons of programmers in my career, and not all of them are big gamers. Is that true with your team? Are they all big gamers, or are some not so into it?
I'm in charge of the gameplay, AI, and presentation team. They're all huge gamers. This is almost like a criteria when I see them in an interview. Like,
Sure.
Are you actually a gamer? Do you love games? Because I want people to be passionate about their work. I want people to want to know more. I want people to want to prove themselves, and they want people to actually want to do something amazing.
It's always surprised me when I've talked to people that make games that aren't actually huge. I mean, you can do it, but do you think that's the secret sauce? Do you think that's something that makes Far Cry special?
Yeah, I feel like that's the secret sauce for any successful games. I think a lot of the programmers, if they weren't passionate about games, they'd probably be doing, you know, other stuff somewhere else, and that's okay. But what I really want is people who actually are passionate about their work and they want to do amazing games.
Awesome. Can you tell us about one other element that you can do as the player besides jumping in the plane that just really makes you super proud of what you guys are putting together with Far Cry 5?
It's a bit more meta, but the way you play the game, the way you're gonna play your missions, and how you can choose them in any order, I'm super proud of it. It was pretty hard. It sounds pretty easy when you think about it, but it was actually really complicated to redo our all mission system to make sure that you can do. The whole world is opened up from the start on Far Cry 5. Like, you don't have any barriers, so you can go anywhere you want in the world, and you can play any of the missions in any of the order. So just trying to find a way to make that work, both in the narrative side and on the gameplay side, was actually a huge challenge, and I think the players are gonna love it, because it's a huge freedom. It's a huge change from what we've done in the past, and I think that being able to play the game the way you want to, and at the rhythm you want to, and in the region you want to, and with the toys that you want to, actually is gonna change the way that they play Far Cry.
Awesome. You've been with Ubisoft for 18 years. I don't think there has been a Ubisoft game that's, you know, set in rural Montana like this, that kind of flips everything on its, like, no one was expecting that. How did that feel for you when that was, were you part of the decision making on where it was going to be set, or was it presented to you with, this is where we're going to set this one?
Well, we wanted to go to America.
Yeah.
That was sort of a thing that we all decided together, but we didn't really know where to go. There's so many good places to go in America.
Sure.
And someone, I think it was, I'm not sure, someone said, why don't you go to Montana? We're like, what's in Montana? We didn't even know what was in there. But when we started looking, when we started scratching, and when we started researching, it felt like it was so perfect in every way. Like, animal-wise, but the region-wise, and all of those things that you're expecting from a Far Cry. Even, like, it feels mysterious because you don't really know, like, what's in Montana. It's far away, and you don't really. So it felt like the more we looked at it, and when we went there on a trip, it felt just so perfect, like in every possible way. Like we hit it right on the head. So it was a good feeling, and the more we looked at it, and what we see today, it feels like it was just the perfect choice.
You got me so hyped for this, dude. It was great talking with you. I cannot wait to play Far Cry 5.
Can't wait for you to play it too.
The end is upon us! I I shall lead you to the gate. For you are my children, and I am your father.